Good day, I am Maybelline B. Divierte, a first-year student taking this education major in English. In this video, I will express my stand and point of view about the three topics, which is the first cry of the revolution, the Taharas Assembly, and the Rizal retraction. So first, I will tell my point of view regarding the first cry of the revolution. After I read accounts of the first cry of the revolution, Dr. P.U. Valenzuela's account was the one that grabbed my attention. His memoirs convinced me that it was likely more real and believable than the other accounts. Okay, I will give some reason why I could say it so. In his accounts, it is stated that he happened to be the eyewitness himself on the event of the cry of the Pugadlawin. He told that the prime staging point of the cry was in Balintawak on Wednesday of August 26, 1896, when his memory about what happened during that time is still vivid. Aside from that, he also mentioned many people who is also a witness of the certain event, and that he took charge of the first and only official publication of the Katipunan and Kalayaan, together with the people who present that time, tore their cedula certificates and shouted, "Long live the Philippines! Long live the Philippines!" After that tumultuous meeting, I conclude that sequence of the events in the account is more realistic. It provides much evidence which is clearly detailed and informative. Because of this statement, I was convinced that it was accurate. Next is the topic about the Taharas Assembly. Based on my reading, it was a meeting held on March 22, 1897 between Katipunan factions of Magdiwang and Magdalo in San Francisco de Malabon, Cavite, that resulted in the creation of a new revolutionary government that took charge of the Philippine Revolution. After I studied accounts, I come to believe more on Santiago Alvarez's account. Why? Because his account is well explained and explicit. He recorded the controversial happenings during that period. The arguments on the election were announced intensely. Every action was detailed clearly, and it resulted in no more questions because all the questionings on what happened during the meeting was already stated in his account. That makes no one confused. His descriptions focus on how the delegation of the election went through and how the people who was present at the time responded to the decision. Further, in his account, I couldn't see any bias, and that's the thing that makes me believe in his account. The last topic is regarding to the Rizal retraction. So after reading the accounts that was presented in this issue, I come to believe on Austin Coates' critical analysis. So Austin Coates' interest in Jose Rizal began when he was assistant colonial secretary and magistrate in Hong Kong in 1950, and so on the morning after the execution, the newspapers of Manila and Madrid recorded the event and announced that on the eve of his death, Rizal had retracted his religious errors. So I see that there was a certainty in his account, for it stated that there was clearly no signed letter of retraction because Rizal had practical understanding of the damage such a letter would do him, besides which he believed that before God he had nothing to retract. As well as no one believed that Rizal had retracted and died confessed, it is inconceivable that they would not have given him Christian burial. The Jesuits had been entrusted by the archbishops with the spiritual care of Rizal, for it was their responsibility. But the Jesuits at the execution did not do so. Further, not only did Balaker in his account not mention the poem he made his account so elaborate that Rizal was restricted to write, and only a glance at the Ultimo Adios is needed to show that it would have taken several hours to write. So, based on my readings, I conclude that Austin Coates has given proof regarding the Rizal retraction. It supplies certain evidence about the controversial topic of Rizal's statement. So that's all my point of view and understanding about the three topics, which is the first cry of the revolution, the Tejeros Assembly, and the Rizal retractions. Thank you for watching. God bless.